all logic would have said, you're done. You've lost your singer. And he's now gone on and made better albums, and he's giving you a run for the money. And then they come out with Heaven and Hell.
Well, what can be said about that record? I mean, I just watched Tony Iommi get interviewed on that metal show, and he was talking about that and just the changeover of singers and the state of mind of Sabbath at that time, and just how different he wrote for Ronnie as opposed to Ozzy. And
that first Sabbath record for me, Heaven and Hell, was fucking killer. I mean, you take a song like Neon Nights, when that hits, man.
Anytime I'm talking about Ronnie James Dio, man, I just automatically, like he's one of my favorite singers ever, if not my favorite.
Oh, whenever you do a Black Sabbath record, you're going to get under the microscope. I mean, they've had 11 records, so just to do one is an honor. You know what I mean? To produce a Black Sabbath record is an honor.
That was probably the first Sabbath album I listened to because I was 12. I was 11 when that. I was 12 when that one came out. Came out in the summer of '80, and the first song I heard off that one was Lady Evil, and I didn't know much about production at the time, but I was like, wow, this sounds like they recorded it at the bottom of a swimming pool.
Right.
And he had learned from a friend how to play the opening riff to Paranoid. And I thought, wow, that sounds pretty cool, and I went to try to find the album, and I couldn't, and found Heaven and Hell, and thought, well, it's probably the same kind of idea. And I mean, there's not enough good things that you could say about that record. It's just a flawless record.
What Ronnie brought to that band is really something.
The Dio thing was a very exciting thing. It was almost just, it was exciting in the same way they came back again and changed the name of the band to Heaven and Hell years later.
Oh, it's such a monumental album. I can say album because it was an album when I purchased it, and
because I think there's a lot of people wondering, like, okay, Ozzy's gone, what now?
Right.
And then that guy from Rainbow.
Well, it was in 1980, and actually before that call came in, I got a call from Sharon Osbourne asking if I wanted to play with Ozzy. Ozzy was putting the Blizzard of Oz together. And and at that point, I knew Ozzy, he was drinking. He was pretty nuts. I asked my brother. He knew Ozzy, too, from years ago. Is Ozzy crazy? I mean, I got this off. I don't know if I should do it or not. He goes, yeah, he's pretty nuts. So it kind of persuaded me to turn it down. So I turned it down, and about 2 or 3 months later, I got a call from Sabbath. They were in town. They're looking for a drummer. Tony heard my album I did with my own band called Axis, and he liked it, so they called me. I don't know where they got my number from.
Thank you for listening to the Mars Attacks podcast. This concludes our show.